I just got done recording my tier list video, and it was 20 minutes long, and I didn't record the audio properly. That's great. That's so fun. Anyways, tier list time, where I think about, you know what, you all know what a tier list is, right? I'm just gonna rank, I think, the top 10 best units in the meta. I'm gonna go a little bit fast because I'm tired and my voice hurts, so bear with me. But I'm gonna throw up my list on the screen here, and you guys will. I'm just explaining myself, right? So, starting up at number 10, we have Red Cell. I said this in the muted video, haha. But him in second form is just not really good. I don't think he has card draw speed. He has, you know, he's healing a ton when he pops his main, which is kind of like the only good thing about him, right? But he's getting key, he's getting damage per card drawn. He's an okay unit in second form, but he can't tank. That is fortunately helped by the fact that he has a lot of healing when he goes perfect, right? So when he's perfect, he'll heal a ton. He also has an 80% HP restoration, and him being a red future unit and a red regen unit really makes him a solid filler option to run alongside Kid Buu and Ultra Rose. So yeah, he's also getting he has double banish, right? Once when he transforms into a perfect, and then his main imperfect, he also has that, as well as the endurance nullification. So again, makes this character a very solid character. Again, just the main reason as to why he's number 10 though is the fact that he's a red regen and a red future character, which makes it really, really easy to use with the two best units in the game, I believe. Also, just don't forget he's got a really solid cover change effect, right? Even if you don't get that sprite cover change off, you still destroy a card and reduce the enemy key. So yeah, that's my number 10 spot. Moving on to number 9. Alright, so number 9 we have is LF Revival Yuego. Him in his base form, he's very solid, I think. He has Vanish Restoration, fairly high Q recovery, and card draw speed, as well as a sprite cover change. I have seen a lot of downplay of this character. Makes no sense to me. I mean, you have a Revival character who can go type neutral, get cover null, right? And is really solid in base form while doing solid damage. And then when he goes into Ultra Instinct form after reviving, right, he's even better, right? 40 counts of cover nullification. He has double card draw speed. He has that evasive UI dodge mechanic, which is really, really stupid good. We all know how good that is. And it actually pairs really, really well with his blue card, which is a ranged blue card now, right? So you can just like auto dodge and then throw that out, because they can't really PV you off of that, and it tends to land most of the time from my experience. So I mean, yeah, Revival UI Goku, I think he's a very, very solid character, but I just don't understand the really downplay of this character. So that's my number 9 spot. Number 8, it's Beast Gohan. I'm not really going to talk about Beast Gohan. He's the best, I think, solo character in the game. He just has infinite Vanish Restoration, essentially. He has infinite cover null, infinite double card draw speed, whatever the dead ally is the thing. He gets even stronger with HP, right? He has a lot of healing. His ult gets stronger. It gives him his Vanish back and a new hand. He's getting endurance whenever the enemy rushes. Like, this character is doing a lot, right? Just unfortunately, his teams around him are not the greatest. Movies doesn't have the greatest equips, right? But is in a much better spot. Unfortunately, I don't think Gogeta Blue is once the pillar of what he once was. Same thing with Beast Gohan. So that team is kind of taking a nosedive. It is what it is, right? And it's just how the game evolves. And hybrids, I mean, they haven't seen the light of day ever since, I think, Future Gohan fell off, right? So same thing with Revival Gohan. Like, those two characters, they've aged, right? They're still usable, they're still good, but they're not. I'm not dying to run them over someone like Jiren, right? Or Goku Frieza, right? So yeah, Beast Gohan, he can move up, I think, definitely up to number 5 if we just get like a really solid character to run him with. But that's my number 8 spot. Number 7, we have Blue Android 17. I mean, this guy's very hard to kill, I've found, right? He makes the team really, really hard to kill. He's doing a lot of healing. He's making the enemy's ults do a lot less on their blue cards and their rushes, right? They can't just nullify endurance for free. Their ults can't nullify endurance just for using it. You can't just nullify endurance off of blue cards anymore. Like, this character, he has a lot of survivability, right? On top of that, he heals pretty decently with his gauge. He heals a lot from the enemy using blue cards as well. And his main giving him a lot of healing, a lot of cover null, a lot of double card draw speed. When his gauge is full, he gets the Dragon Ball Destruction, the enemy's main healing, right? Which that has come into play a lot of times and it has saved me. And the biggest thing he gets is the double vanish, right? That double vanish, you have to really like play around that, right? Also, I've had multiple instances where this character can really... He, I think, is a really good counter to Rose, but it's unfortunate because he's blue. Like, they made Rose like green and just like destroy 17 in 3 cards, but if 17 can force their Ultra Rose on the enemy team to use his ult while the enemy Rose has his main pop and his type neutrality, right? 17 can get rid of that type neutrality and you can go into maybe LF Rose, right? Who I think is the 17's one of his greatest partners. And then you can just not take any damage. So this character, he really, really helps units survive. He survives. No, that's his main thing, right? But yeah. Anyways, moving on to number 6, we have LF Goku and Frieza. I think they're good, but the main thing that stops them from being top 5 with the ultras and stuff like that is just their damage. You have to really work for it, right? I think the Goku side is a little bit underwhelming. His green card is kind of okay. He doesn't have blast armor. The whole point of the unit, I feel like, is to just kind of build damage with Goku and then switch into Frieza and then, you know, launch 85 billion blue cards and do crits on them. But again, they don't have the reverse blue, like they don't have reverse purple as like their tag color. They have blue, so that's a big issue, right? Because again, that just means more strength to Rose, and Kid Buu also goes unchecked right there. For the Frieza side, I think it's a lot better. He has a really good green card, first of all. That green card is very godly. And he's also got blast armor, right? So they also do have the anti-rising rush effect, right? Which is kind of their big thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't really stop defensive rushes. It only stops offensive rushes. But, I mean, we'll take what we can get, right? With the rising rush, right? So anyways, yeah, that's my number 6 spot for Goku and Frieza and why they're there. All right, number 5. I think Yellow Jiren right now in the meta is a lot better. I think Yellow Jiren does synergize a lot better with just the team that he works with. Universe reps, right? That's his big thing. He's really... I found this character to be the hardest character to kill in a while, right? This character is very, very tanky. He's also healing a ton. He's doing a lot of rising rush control by destroying enemy Dragon Balls. And he's also hitting very, very hard. He's also going from a strike cover change to a blast cover change, so you do have to keep in mind, like, when, you know, like, he's gonna... Like, what... like cover change he has. Jiren's also... He's also doing a lot of enemy debuffs, right? Which these debuffs, I do think that debuffs are better than buffs, just because debuffs end up making you hit a lot harder, as well as just like disrupt the enemy a lot more. But Jiren is doing a lot of that as well. He's actually able to get around AoE greens once, which I haven't seen in the play because I haven't seen a lot of Kid Buus, which is a good thing, because the less you see of a toxic character, the better, right? But he does have that in his arsenal. Jiren also has a ton of cover and all. He's also has that strike covered. He has a strike counter, excuse me. That counter, which is it's really hard to deal with, I feel. Just because it's a short animation, meaning he has fast recovery if he misses the counter, right? So it can catch people off guard with that. And outside of rushing this character, I found it really hard to kind of kill him, right? So yeah. Also, just red isn't the greatest color as well. Like, red is scot-free, but they don't have a lot of options other than like hit and sell. Like, there aren't that many great red options. So again, Jiren kind of able to spread his wings a lot. He's also really tanky. Not a lot of direct counters. So that's why I do think Jiren is number 5. All right, let's move on into the ultras here. Ultra Gogeta Blue. Gogeta Blue is strong. But the meta has kind of worked against him at this point. He's not what he once was. His defensive ability to just eat hits is just... it's starting to fall off. I can definitely feel that. Kid Buu can erase this character with ease. Rose, if he's type neutral, can really do a lot of damage to this character. Hit does a lot of damage to this character. Like, this character is starting to take a lot of damage, and I have started to notice that, even while he's like focus fire is anti-buff. Fortunately, he still has that really ridiculous gauge. And gauge is still stupid. He's probably one of the strongest offensive units that we'll see in a while. Again, once his green card pops, he gets cover null, right? He has a lot of cover null. His blue card hits really hard. That gauge really gives him a blue card. That also hits really hard. He has type neutrality after 30 counts. He gets his banish back after 60 counts with his green card. And he also gets double card draw speed after 60 counts. after 60 counts, it's really hard to match what this character can do. He also has really, really high key recovery after a while, right? Like, this character, he is doing a lot, right? And just unfortunately, the meta has kind of worked against him, and that's why he's at number 4. But definitely depends on, like, if we get Ultra Vegeta Blue here, like, this character can easily go back up to being number 3, number 2, number 1. No, he's not number 1. Vegeta Blue would be number 1. Let's be real, you're right. But, yeah. So, that's Gogeta. That's my placement for him. Number 3, we have Ultra Hit. Ultra Hit is very tricky because I think when he starts off the match, he's easily the worst out of the 4. He has no neutral, meaning he has no ways of restoring Vanish. He doesn't have that gauge like Gogeta. He doesn't have the AoE green like Kid Buu. He doesn't have Blast Armor. He's not really like easy to take control of neutral with, right? He's got that really solid green card free time skip, which gives him cover null, which allows him to build up. He's also got a really good heal mechanic when he builds up. He's got a good healing. He has an offensive healing mechanic, right? But again, one thing with this character is kind of easy. He's very squishy, I found, at 5 steps especially. So, but once this character gets going, especially with that time skip in hand, like this character is almost unstoppable. Like, if I time skip you and you die, I'm trying to get my hands on you as fast as possible so I can rush you. And then right like that, you lose 2 Dragon Balls, you lose 2 characters. Like, it's really, really hard to make a comeback with just one character, right? Especially just against Hit, because Hit, again, once he gets going, nothing stops him. Like, nothing stops him, right? But again, you have to get going with this character. Like, one thing that's really strong about Hit is that if you get a combo, you just kill a character. Like that is stupid overpowered. Like, if I touch you, you die. Like, great, GG's. Like, the enemy has to play around that, and especially if you know how to reset the time skip and not get punished for it, then you're really gaming out there. Like, my favorite thing my favorite thing to do is just to, like, go into, like, maybe Revival UI Goku or, like, Revival 7 LF17, use a mid-range blast, let connect, and then just switch into Hit and then time skip, right? That always results in a drop combo. They can't switch out of it. They can't punish. They can't stop you. They're guaranteed to get hit, and it's a reset. And if they tackle you, it's even better because they move in a close range, and it's just GG's for that, right? But yeah, Hit is a very solid character, but I just think his neutral is weak, and I think him having to build up is also something that's really counterintuitive to, you know, just kind of coming in and just sniping a character, right? But yeah. So that's Hit. Number 2 is Kid Buu. Kid Buu is pretty self-explanatory. I just don't think a lot of people really summoned for him because of the anniversary, right? But I haven't seen enough Kid Buu, but I will say that from what I've seen of Kid Buu and using Kid Buu myself, this character is stupid snap. That AoE green is not fun to deal with. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he just kind of wins, right? There's certain neutral aspects where this character wins. Again, he also has blast armor, so it's like you can't really, like, do a lot of things to mid-range him. Otherwise, you just get punished, right? Either he'll sidestep you, he'll back up, and he'll go for green. That usually tends to catch people, or he'll blast armor through you. He's healing a ton. That gauge is stupid. When he has that gauge, it's really, really hard to stop Kid Buu from going. Ooh, excuse me, because he's getting a lot of key when he's drawing cards. He's healing a ton, right? And then it's like, he uses the blue, right, or something like that, or another green into blue, and he's like, oh, like, cool, like, I can't play this character, like, I can't fight him, right? Like, Kid Buu is a really solid, like, 1v3 character. Like, it's really, really easy to, like Kid Buu snowball the fight and just, like, not take any damage with them. The only reason I have him at number 2 is just because I think Rose does more damage. That's what I think Rose does. Rose does a lot more, and we'll get to Rose in a bit, but Kid Buu, right? Also, when he's last man standing, he gets permanent endurance nullification, right? And again, Kid Buu also has endurance, so you do have to keep that in mind. One thing with Kid Buu, though, that I have noticed, I had a thought. What was it? But yeah. Now, Kid Buu has actually one of these interesting mechanics where whenever the enemy rushes, he will get his Vanish back, and he will cancel the enemy's upgrade buff effects. I haven't actually, like, that hasn't really been a strong mechanic, I realized, just because you can't really anticipate when the enemy is going to rush just in neutral, right? Like, obviously that's supposed to be a neutral tool, but like there are times when you can anticipate it, but it's not like I'm not going to bank on that fact being like the main thing, right? Like instead of like letting that thing proc and getting my vanish back so I can like resume neutral, I'm usually either gonna click a card and get hit by the rush or just switch to another character anticipating the rush. Like I found that mechanic to be very hard to use, but yeah. All right, number 1, Rose. Rose is the character that gets away with the most bullshit possible. This is probably just gonna be like, oh, skill issue, but no, I've had multiple instances where people just throw out shit and it works. Like this character just works. I don't understand why they built him the way they did. He does everything, right? He has blast armor. He gets stronger when he gets hit. He has rising rush control. He's got one of the strongest cover change effects in the game. Healing mains, destroying cards, lowering card draw speed. Why do you do this stuff? It's really scary to cover change against this character because even if he doesn't have cover null, he still gets card draw speed, right? And like even with 1 level of card draw speed, he has really high key recovery and really low costing cards, right? So he just combos forever. And like if you mess up or like if you like switch against him, he has double card draw speed, right? And double card draw speed with really high key recovery and low costing cards, and the amount of damage he does, I mean, things just snowball out of control really fast. His blue cards are really stupid. Like he has 40% chance to inflict paralyzed. Like whoa, why do you do that? Even if he doesn't, he still hits really hard with it. And then he has that green, which force draws another blue. It gives him enough key to use it, and it destroys your cards. So like, there's so many instances where I've had people just throw out a blue, and then like they'll just green card into another blue, and I just die. Or like this character, because he has good key recovery and he has really good card draw speed, as well as he's low costing cards, right? He'll do like 6 strike cards, and it's like, oh, are you done? No, he throws out a blue. Thank you. Like he just deletes your entire health bar in like 2 seconds, and then he's throwing out a blue card after that. It's like, whoa. And if that wasn't bad enough, his gauge exists. He heals from he's doing a ton of healing. This character is doing a ton of healing. I've had multiple instances where this character's like at 1 HP and then he just goes back up to full. It's like, why? Did I forget that he heals whenever the enemy switches? It's like, why? Just why do you do this stuff, right? Doesn't he get key when the enemy switches? Like, I don't remember. Like, this character's doing literally everything, right? He goes type neutral on his main. He stacks damage on his ults. Going back to his gauge. Whenever he uses a strike card, he gets his vanish back, which a lot of people just don't understand that, right? It's like they just kind of let him do his thing instead of like trying to punish him for it. I actually had 1 person in like the 3 months that Rose's been out who tried to counter it. Yeah, this character, he does literally everything, right? And he's the easiest character to just snowball out of control, just like out of the gates, just does your entire health bar. And before you know it, your entire team is just dead. Because he's also doing that passive damage with that blue. And I think that's one thing that Kid Buu just doesn't do, right? Kid Buu is very annoying. Kid Buu is very solid, but he's not out of the gates doing 85 billion% damage, and then he's also like surviving you. Like he's not popping like a blue, right? His blue, I have found that his blue card doesn't hit as hard, and I think that's the one thing that I have Rose over. Like Kid Buu, he comes in, he does a lot of damage, and then his blue card kind of feels like it misses the mark, which is a good thing because his blue card shouldn't be just coming out and destroying you. If that blue card did any more damage than it did, I think he would just be number 1, like just undisputed to me. But he doesn't do that, and Rose does that. Kid Buu is also not really annoying on cover change, which is something I found, which Rose does. Rose also, I think, in terms of comboing, I think Kid Buu is a lot stronger, but Rose's combos are more devastating. Like him stealing blues again. He's doing a lot. I've been on this topic for a little bit, but I just have to just express why these 2 characters are so stupid, right? Alright, that's my list so far, but I do want to talk about the honorable mention. So first we have at number 11, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I think they're good. I think they're the most consistent unit in the game, where you go into Goku, you go into Vegeta, and you go back into Goku, and then you get your vanish back, and you heal a bunch. They have infinite cover null, They have the AoE greens, right? And they're doing a lot. It's hard to rush them. It's hard to ult them. But their teams are just not up to par, I think, is what really holds them back. Same thing with the tag Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I just think they suck. Like, they're good damage-wise. You have to force them to work, though. You have to build the team directly around them. And why would I want to use these guys when I can just use Kid Buu and Rose on the same team and just, like, win? You know what I mean? Like, instead of, like, from having fun, there's no, like, rhyme or reason to use Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and 3 Goku, so... Their biggest issue I found is that they have key issues. These key issues are really, really, really holding them back. And I think they need a unique equipment ASAP that just gives them more heal recovery. And fix the Vegeta side, because that side is literally nothing. That Vegeta is awful. I do want to highlight LF Rose. He's not what he once was, but when you run him alongside Blue 17, Blue 17 can really hold up the problems that this Rose has, so. That's Purple Rose. SSBE Vegeta, he's very solid. He's a very solid offensive unit that can really snowball out of control, I feel. But it's just, do I want to use him or do I want to use Jiren, right? Vegeta's good, but he's not like one of these ultra characters, so Vegeta's a very sleeper option, I do think so. I also have Super Saiyan 4 Goku Dragon Fist on this list. He's very good, but again, it's just the age, right? He's also center focused around being ran alongside GT units, and that team has kind of fallen off, so we just need more for him, right? And yeah, another one I want to really mention before I go is Red Free to Play 21. I think her on the Android setup is a very, very solid option. I have noticed that she does 3-card to my Kid Buu, but again, that's a really specific situation. I do think she's a very sleeper option, and I do think she's the best free-to-play character in the game right now, so. Yeah, that's my list. So, just quickly reiterate, we have Red Cell, Revival UA Goku, Beast, LF17, Goku and Frieza, Transforming Sparking 1% Jiren, Ultra Gogeta Blue, Ultra Hit, Ultra Kid Buu, and then Ultra Rose at number 1, so. Alright, that's my list. I'm gonna go sleep now, because 40 minutes of straight talking is a lot harder than you think.